Hey, what's up? This is just a random horse. Found it on Pexels. Just wanted to put him in my video. You know how it is. Get the ad revenue. What are you going to do about it? Ain't shit. I don't know if I showed you guys this shirt in the last video. I wore it in the last video, but I don't know. It wasn't very noticeable because I had the other shirt on. I got it. I almost showed my big ass stomach. It says this is going to ruin the Trolls World Tour, and it's got JT's mugshot on it. Oh my god! Do you realize how hard it is to make the moon landing boring? It is one of the greatest American stories in history. We put a human on the moon over 50 years ago. All in the name of Russia can't be better than us because vodka. If you ever tell me a movie about the moon landing, not only said moon landing, but the backup plan of the moon landing, should that mission fail, would end up being boring as fuck, I wouldn't believe you. And then I watched Fly Me to the Moon. This was one of our top 3 July movies. Stick around next week for Twisters and the week after for Deadpool and Wolverine. And also, check out the community tab. You guys are going to be seeing a lot more polls. You guys can vote for months in advance. We got an August poll coming up soon. September, October, the months. They keep coming. They just keep coming. I don't know where they come from. Why is it almost September? Anyways, let's get to this. Snorefest. The film follows a marketing maven named Kelly Jones, played by Scarlett Johansson, being brought in to fix NASA's public image leading up to the historic Apollo 11 launch. Sparks fly between Jones and the launch director Cole Davis, played by Channing Tatum, as not only is the mission too important to fail, but the countdown begins as we see Kelly and Cole attempt to pull off the seemingly impossible task, while all sorts of things go on behind the scenes to ensure the mission's success. Sadly, this is one of those movies I just don't know how to talk about because, man, it's just so boring. But we'll talk about the good stuff anyways. I think every other actor in this movie, other than the 2 main actors, really sell their performances. Woody Harrelson does great as Mo Burkus, this government agent that knows how to manipulate shit. And being played by Woody Harrelson immediately makes your character shady, so good casting there. Ray Romano's great. Jim Rash, the dean from Community. I found out this guy directed Love, Simon, and that really makes sense because the standout element is the romance. I was also worried with all the other elements the fake moon landing would have gotten sidelined or just lost in the film entirely. Thankfully it does alright and gets just enough screen time. Even though the romance can kind of overshadow some elements, the movie really is thought-provoking at times. I also argued the film captured the 60s vibe with grace. Can you believe that's all I can say? There's not even that much bad stuff. God, this got in the top 3? I could have talked about fucking Long Legs and y'all voted for this. This movie is so fucking boring. Like, I actually was rolling my head back at times because, man, this movie gets so uninteresting so quickly. It felt like they didn't know how to make this material good. A big thing I noticed is while the romance itself is good, it's not helped that the 2 main actors, who are good in other stuff, but man, they didn't know how to make these characters work at all. I'm also going to argue this is a movie that you won't be thinking about in a week after you watch it because it really just does the bare minimum. And I know for a fact that when I talk about the 2024 movies I've watched in the year, coming in January, I won't be talking much about this one because it just doesn't do anything new. You get what you expect, and I guess I can't fault it for that because it plays it safe, but it's just not as memorable as even the bad movies like Argylle. Sure, Argylle was bad and it failed, but it took the risks. I have more stuff to say with movies like Madam Web, Argylle, freaking Megamind vs. the Doom Syndicate. Because this movie plays it safe, I don't know how to critique it without it just coming off as, oh, it's just a standard film. I can't complain that it did its job, but I can't say it did anything that new either. What sucks is I wanted to enjoy this story because lately biography films haven't hit as well. Like why do I care about Amy Winehouse? Look, Amy Winehouse is dead! She died! Rest in pepperone! Alright? Skibbity unplugged. Amy Winehouse, more like Amy Skibbity House. Oh my god. Like, why the fuck do I care? Look, I like Bob Marley's music. I don't want to hear his story. If you think for a goddamn second that I care about Whitney Houston's story, that was actually like, I was interested in it, but the movie sucked anyway, so it doesn't matter. What I'm talking about is this could have been a really creative take on the moon landing and a creative take on biography films in general. But it just didn't take those risks. Though it's overall harmless, Fly Me to the Moon is an incredibly boring flick. It does very little to shine, and when it does, it's mostly in small bursts. The 60s vibe is cool, and occasionally there's a good line or thought-provoking moment. Some of the actors do alright, and the romance is okay, even though it's not helped by the 2 main actors. It just doesn't reach for the stars, and it's about as standard as you get. You don't lose anything by checking it out, but you also don't really gain anything either. Okay, here's my obligatory space joke. Houston, there's a skibbity yacht among us! I'm gonna kill myself just for saying that shit. Good night.
Fly me to the moon, let me play among the stars.